Okay, guys, welcome to Unorganized with Shawnee Shore. Here with Shane Nolan of a new gym that's opening here at the Jersey Shore, Outpost Jersey Shore. How are you, Shane?
Doing well, man. I'm excited to be on the podcast tonight, and we said you're on location here
Yeah,
for the podcast. So
on location. This is the second time that I've traveled now for the podcast. It's always fun doing that. And dude, this place is like pretty cool. I obviously haven't seen it. It hasn't opened yet. So
yeah, nah, dude, I appreciate it. Yeah, so we're doing like a grand opening next Wednesday, 25th, and yeah, dude, it's sweet. It's our little kind of garage gym setup that we got going on here. So it's definitely been a process. I mean, I'm partnered with a previous podcast guest, Frank Luna, who's the freaking man. So, but yeah, this is the spot.
yeah, dude. So how did you like stumble across this location?
It's a good story. I mean, it's a crazy kind of story. So I took over the gym. So this space was a training space. It
Okay.
was a gym for the better part of like almost a decade. Um, it was previously Bernardo's training, and the previous owner had worked with a lot of athletes, worked with a lot of like adults and stuff. And I came here originally in the fall of 2019. I was at Monmouth, and I was trying out for the football team, and I
Okay.
needed a place to train. I heard about Bernardo's training from some family friends, and I was like, yeah, let me get in there. This dude is doing good stuff. So got in, was training really hard, meeting good people. Didn't end up making the team, but I really just kind of took well to the training, and I really enjoyed it. So continued. Pandemic hit. Was working out on our own. Once things kind of opened up again, got back in here, continued to train. Graduated from Monmouth, my undergrad in 2021, and I had no plans. I was a good student. I had good grades, but I had no plans of what I really wanted to do. So I had always lifeguarded on the beach in the summer. So I lifeguarded the whole summer after I graduate. Labor Day comes, and no, haven't even sent out a job application anywhere. But I'm still coming to train. And the previous owner, Matt, finally one day he's like, dude, like what the fuck are you doing? Are you going back to school? Are you working? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to figure it out.
Need some direction.
Yeah, and he's like, yo, well, I'm thinking about moving to Florida. And my first reaction is like, oh damn, I need to find a new gym.
Hmm.
And this is again like September of 21. And he's like, would you potentially be interested in taking the gym over? And like I was like, at this point I hadn't even really coached anyone like formally. Like
Hmm.
obviously like my friends would ask me for advice, and like when the gym was busy, if I was in here working out, I'd kind of step in and give the younger kids advice if I saw that Matt was busy with some other like older clients or
Hmm.
something. But no like formal coaching at this point. Didn't know shit about running a business. So that winter 2021 into like the spring of 2022, I start coaching with them. I start kind of getting my feet wet with things. And then April 22, basically April 1st, 2022, tosses me the keys. We have like a payment agreement that we worked on
Okay.
ourselves, and kind of just took over from there. So for the first year and a half, I operated as Garden State Performance, and I was
Okay.
primarily like coaching. Like I kind of kept the same business model,
Hmm.
which was pretty much all like the hours that I was operating, I was coaching clients,
Gotcha.
in kind of like a group setting. And now with the Outpost, so it's same location. I appreciate the people on Instagram that have hit me up thinking I have a second gym. I do. I appreciate the optimism, but it's not there yet. Just a little bit of rebranding.
Hmm.
But with the Outpost Jersey Shore, I had a bunch of my boys, like when I was coaching, my boys would always hit me up like, yo, can I get in there and work out like in the in between hours? Can I get in there and work out like on the weekends? Or like, I mean, we know from the fitness
Yeah,
shop, there's late night
exactly.
sessions that they hit sometimes.
They do.
Yeah, so it was like, it started to get the wheels turning of like, dude, like this spot could be like, maybe there's a draw here to make it like a 24/7 key club type of setup
For sure.
for people to come and do, again, different kind of workouts. Like you said when you walked in, like we have some different stuff here. We got the turf, we've got deadlift platforms, like we've got everything you need. And then like I always say, like, and a couple things you maybe didn't even know you needed, or like some
Exactly.
things that like other gyms might not be
This
able
is
to
something.
have.
To me, it looks more something like an athletic training facility. So like a
Absolutely.
fitness shop where you're 24 hours, you're not like doing sprints or pulling sleds there. Obviously,
Yeah,
you're just like
absolutely.
lifting some weight, which is always fun.
Yeah.
But here you have the turf. I see you have tires. You just like looking around, you have a lot of different things that are more for like athletic purposes.
Absolutely. So that was the previous model, and for my first like little over a year, that's like it was working with some adults and like general fitness, but you could I hate to use the term, but you could categorize it as like that functional fitness model.
Hmm.
And then it was And then again, like working with a lot of athletes. So I was working with some high school athletes. I had a nice crew of like some college football guys that I train in the summers. And again, so now, and I love to train like an athlete. I'm not like a paid professional athlete anywhere, but I just like to stay mobile, play men's leagues, play pickup basketball and stuff like that. So again, having a space like this that can be open to other people that want to train the same way, push a sled around, do some farmers carries, all that shit like that. Again, we kind of can offer a little bit of a different blend there. And again, some of my buddies that were always hitting me up to use the gym on those off hours kind of sparked something. And then starting back like in probably January of this past year, Frank came in just to train. And Frank and I know each other from the fitness shop, dude. We go way back. And he was like, what do you really want to do with this? And like, truthfully, one of the things I've learned in this first year or so is like, I enjoy coaching, but I think I'm more interested in like running a gym and like creating a space and kind of having like just kind of creating a little vibe in here.
The business, you start to like the business side of things.
The business side almost a little more. And I still love to coach, and I'll probably continue to coach, but I don't want to like have that be all that I do.
Exactly.
And I kind of pitched to him. I was like, yo, I have this key club idea. And things just kind of started snowballing from there. And we just started kind of just checking off boxes and making moves in here and doing a lot of renovations. And what's dope is that I say a lot of renovations. The space looks entirely different, but this green rack, I mean, it's off camera, but the green rack here, the only things we added are the green rack and the rubber flooring. So that everything else was already here. It was just like rearranged.
Gotcha.
It completely changed the vibe of the gym.
So what we're looking at with this green rack, that's like one of those, I don't even know how to describe it. What do you call that? It's like
almost like a monkey bar.
Yeah, like a monkey bar.
American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Ninja Warrior, like you're climbing up monkey bars.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm always making like a lot of like the athletes like climb up and down that. Like instead of just doing pull-ups, like I'll mix it up and give them that or something.
That's cool.
They love it, yeah. And even too, it's sweet when I bought that. It also has for like some of my buddies that powerlift. It has these attachments, and it's probably shittier than the actual version, but they have those attachments that like the J cups that are kind of like the monolift.
Okay,
where like this kind of like that weighted end and they'll swing out from under you. So that has those as well, which is cool. So again, some of my buddies that like the power lift and they think they lift enough to need the monolift. You know, at least I have those J cups.
The monolift is probably the only thing that I never figured out how to actually use at Jersey Shore Fitness Shop in the back.
I have no idea, dude. So funny story with that. Probably like a week ago, I was there and I was looking to squat. And for some reason, like the actual like the hooks of it were bumped like in. They were like super narrow.
Okay.
Which I didn't even know you could adjust them like in and out. Like
I didn't know that either.
Down. So they were super narrow. Whoever was doing it, like maybe like they just can't get their shoulders like in, so they were like out here on it. I don't know why you would feel the need to bring it in, and I couldn't figure out how to get it out. So I was like trying to be super careful re-racking and unracking the weight because the bar, the leverage, the bar was able to tip more. And dude, sure enough, I'm down to my last plate. There's one plate on one side, which like everyone knows, like that shouldn't tip off the bar.
No, not at all.
Shouldn't, but it tipped out of its.
It was that narrow that.
Yeah, it was that narrow. That one plate on one side tipped it out of its unracked position. It must have been a little bit to one side, dude. It tipped in like the middle of the day. Like the bottom floor was packed.
Oh man.
Like hit. And then the bar, this is like the bottom of the one side of the barbell came and it like landed on my foot.
Oh, damn.
And thankfully nothing, it didn't really break or anything. But I'm sitting there like, dude, like I'm the idiot that tips this bar right now. Like I worked here for years. I've been working out forever. Like I'm freaking like the asshole in the middle of the day.
I think Julia took the time to show me how to like adjust the monolift up and down, and then I didn't use it for a while, and then I just completely forgot how to use it.
Dude,
even when I'm in there sometimes, if I was still in there sometimes in the past year or so, I'll see people like trying to adjust it and figure it out, and I have no clue. I'm just like staring. I'm like trying to figure. I'm like hoping someone I'm watching finally knows how to use it. And I don't think I've ever seen someone actually know.
Dude, even working there, so I worked there for like probably the better part of like 4 or 5 years. So I used to, so I lifeguarded with Jake in the summers, and then so I would do that. Since I went to Monmouth, I would do that during the school year. And I'm telling you, it was always guess and check. Like it was like the handful of times, it's easy to bump it up. I have no clue really how to bring it back down. Like I could figure out, there's a little lever that you can kind of like crank it up, but every once in a while, like some like powerlifting chick would come in on like a Saturday night late for like a day pass, and she wanted to like squat. And I'm like, I don't know how to lower it. Like I have no.
I know how to pump it up, but I couldn't lower it. Which, I mean, that was fine for me, just knowing how to get it higher. So
I feel bad for the person after you because they definitely got to lower it.
No chance.
Yeah, they definitely got to lower it.
But What role would you say, like, work at fitness shop, working in that type of gym for like 4 years? What did that have? Like, what role did that have on like opening Outpost or getting the idea and like, kind of following through with it?
Dude, it was huge. I mean, I have so much love for that gym, for John and Greg, for Jake, Julia, like the whole crew, dude, freaking Bill, like all those guys. Dude, Bill's the man. Like, and even dude, even for me, from a business partner standpoint, like I wouldn't know Frank without that spot. Probably that's where him and I first met. So just, dude, that's a special place. It's a special gym. That was, without even really knowing it at the time, that was my first lessons in like how to run a gym, just run a business in general. More specifically, run a gym, like how to treat people, how to handle problems when they come up, like how to treat employees. Like, hopefully one day shit gets popping in here. I can start having some nice employees and stuff. And like, just really they just do such a good job there. And that's why, I mean, they're one of the best gyms in the area, probably in the state, and without any marketing, dude. Like,
no marketing.
It's crazy because like the word of mouth is that like viral for them, and they don't need anything else. And I think working there, also again, just even going there at first, set the tone for just loving just working out and being in a dope gym, and then seeing like you were saying before, like it's a little bit different. It's more like bodybuilder, powerlifter.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of like old school.
The old school look. Yeah, it's like it's not an influencer gym, which everyone's going after these dudes.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we got going. It's a different vibe with the turf and everything, but still, dude, brick walls, a lot of exposed ceiling. Like being here, the first time I stepped in as a member, gave me that same feeling as the fitness shop, just a little more of like that athletic tilt.
Exactly.
And that's honestly, again, kind of what we're going for, that same kind of feeling of like, dude, we're just like, we're in here working out with you most of the times. Like, you're liable to see us in here. Just like you'll see Greg and John fucking ripping on that rower still. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's just seeing the environment that they create has been really impactful on how we're trying to do things here.
Yeah, no, I remember. I mean, I started going to fitness shop. I think at probably like 19 or something. I'm 28 now. Probably 19. Yeah. I think I first signed up. I went there one night because Jersey Strong closed, or it probably was like Workout World or something at that point. They had like their company, like their employee holiday party on like a random weeknight. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know about this.
Yeah.
And they closed, so I went to fitness shop. I'm like, oh, I actually love it here. I'm signing up.
Yeah.
And then I never looked back, and I was still, dude, I loved it there. And then I think one of my favorite things about fitness shop was always like the holidays, because you guys were open no matter what. If you came on like 11 a.m. on Thanksgiving or Christmas, like everyone in the community, like all like the people that were lifting and serious about fitness were all there.
All in there. Dude, those holiday lifts are just different.
Amazing. I would never actually lift something serious. I would always just do some arm workout, because you were seeing everyone. You were gonna hang out and just talk.
You're just there for like 2 or 3 hours, like hanging out, like wishing everybody whatever holiday it was, and like again, everybody just wants to break a sweat before they stuff their face for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever it is. Oh yeah, dude, the holiday mornings in there are sweet, man.
It's crazy, and dude, fitness shop, they never closed. I always love that.
The only time they've ever
it's
been
like power
outages,
right?
Sandy, and they had a generator prepared to be open, and the state was like, dude, like you can't. I'm pretty sure that's a story. Like maybe Jake or Julia could like fact check that, but to my recollection, this state during Sandy, like the state was like, it's not safe. Like you cannot be open. But they had a generator. Like they got their power knocked out, but they were locked and ready. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I believe it 100%.
Yeah.
But you said
that place is sweet.
You're doing a grand opening party here, October, what is it, 25th?
October 25th, yeah.
Okay,
so
6 to 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, yes, dude. So we want anyone that's interested to come out. You can come out and just ask questions. You can come get a workout in. Like we'll have, there'll definitely be people in here just
working out and stuff.
Getting their workout in, yeah. And for us, like we want to allow like a lot of different people to use this space. So again, most of my original business was just like me training people, but again, opening it up, we want, whether you're just like a weekend warrior, you just want to come in here like once, twice a week and do something different with the sleds and the turf, or like I was talking to some people earlier this morning about like having other trainers come in, like, hey, you guys can come use the space too. If you're like an online trainer or kind of like a trainer that floats around gyms, like, hey, this can be a spot that's a little bit different than the Jersey Strong that you're at, a little bit different than like Iron Revolution or wherever, like maybe those more like traditional kind of gym setups.
Exactly.
This can be that spot where maybe you bring your client here, once a month or every other week to kind of just mix it up for them. And then even with all the open floor space, like dude, chiros, PTs, massage therapists, like whoever. Like, I'm hoping anyone comes out and we can just find a way to make it work, because we really just want this to be just like a fitness, wellness like hub. It's
Yeah,
kind of like the
exactly.
vision for it, because like again, we're trying to make pricing affordable, 24/7. So like no excuse for hours and everything, and just kind of pack this place with good people is really what we're going for.
No, I mean, you definitely have the setup, and I mean, even when I walked in here, it has that like fitness shop type feel where it's like an old school, but like as I said, athletic training.
And it's like tidy. So that's why I always tell people with the fitness shop, I'm like, dude, it's old school, but it's so like well kept. Like as an employee, we know, dude, everything is re-racked, everything's wiped down. And so again, so going back to your question before, that's like a very direct transfer from me from working there. Like the clients that I've trained in this first year or so, they're like, dude, you're so like meticulous putting shit back.
Well,
and I'm like, that is purely the fitness shop.
It's the worst thing in the world. If you're at a gym and like, dude, if I'll go to a Retro or Crunch Fitness or Jersey Strong, I mean, they're all good gyms. They serve their purpose, but they don't take like no one takes gym etiquette serious there.
Gosh. Yeah.
So it's like, you'll walk to a dumbbell rack and there's like 25s, 50s, 75s, and like 5s all on the same, right next to each other. I'm like, where are the 30s? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know how they work.
I probably wouldn't have cared about if I hadn't started at the fitness shop, but the fitness shop was my first gym. And then I started working there. So I was indoctrinated. I was just locked in. Like, this is how you have to run a gym. This is how you have to put your shit back. Like, and there's no other way about it. And it keeps this place tidy.
Yeah, for sure. No, definitely. I mean, and fitness shop, the people there, like as you said, like people like Julia, Greg, John, Jake.
Even the members will will police that too, which is awesome.
No, dude, and I met a lot of my friends at fitness shop. Like Frank, such a great guy. I met at fitness shop when I was I don't know, he was probably more of a normal time. But I went there I was going there at like 3-4 a.m. sometimes. And Ralph would always be at the front desk.
Oh, dude, Ralph is a man. Dude, Ralph is still there. I love every once in a while. If I'll end up catching, like if I'm on my P's and Q's and get like an early workout in, and he's kind of wrapping up that overnight shift, dude. Dude, Ralph's the man.
Yeah, he's always the best. He's always so happy to see me if I would come early enough in the morning, like you said, and he's like leaving.
Yeah,
and stuff. And Bill always hanging out, talking football. I would always come in on like Sundays or early Sundays or something, talk about football with Bill.
Dude, there's like no one that Bill doesn't know. I feel like I'm convinced, like especially in the Monmouth County, there's no one that Bill like doesn't know.
Funny story about Bill. This past weekend, I was out at Joe's watching the first half of the Giants game.
Yeah,
because I work there. I'm just like sitting there drinking, having a water. And I turned and looked, and I just saw his calves. Like, because the lights were too bright, I just saw his calves. I'm like, that's Bill.
Yeah.
I got up, I walked over to him, was like, yo, what's up? Like,
those things, you could spot him in those from like a mile away. Yeah.
Dude, that's the only way I noticed him. It was so funny.
That's awesome.
But what else are you doing these days, too?
Dude, so I mostly this. I mean, this really does, like, this really takes on a lot of my time. So, like, dude, Frank's got a bunch going on, so it's cool to have him as a partner. And then I'm kind of like the day-to-day for a lot of this.
Gotcha.
But again, eventually, like I would love to grow this to where maybe it's something like kind of like a passive income. Like people are coming in, swiping. I'm not coaching as much. And I'd love to kind of like get into like maybe something else. But I'm honestly, it's funny you asked that because I'm really all in on this right now, but I'm super curious and I'm very excited to see like kind of what my next step's going to be. But for me, immediately, it's definitely growing this.
Just growing this.
On the coaching side, I'm starting to kind of try and dabble in some of the online coaching world, which is like exciting. Cool. So just like kind of writing up programs, doing the content, trying to see how I respond as a personality to that, like with the algorithm and whatnot, and then just seeing how I like interacting with clients in like a hybrid model, maybe we're like once a week or once a month or meeting a year, and a lot of it's going on online. So that'll be, I'm definitely excited for that. That's kind of like my two next things, like professionally, like hammering this and just growing this community with the Outpost. And then kind of starting to dabble into maybe some of the more online coaching.
Very nice. So, like, what's your ideal client as, like, an online coach? Do you want, like, a broad spectrum of, like, all different ages and stuff? Or do you have, like, a goal of, like, a certain type of client with your training?
That's a really good question. I would say right now, I think based on what I'm used to, I'm really comfortable working with everyone. Like, when I've had people ask me that question, my go-to answer is usually, like, I don't care what they're training for. I don't care like where they're starting at. They just got to have a little bit of that dog in them. Like, that's just like, dude. And like the people that know what I mean. Like I've had kids in here like, dude. I've had kids in here that are like maybe a little chubby, kind of getting that baby fat off when they're like 12, 13 years old. And like it would not be probably a good athlete in some of their sports they're playing, dude. But they got that dog in them. Like they come in here and they just want to get better. Like they're not concerned with where they're at right now. Dude, they just want to come in here and compete and get better. And so that trait is usually what I look for. I have adults that might not know they have that dog in them. You know, they think they're coming in here just for like general fitness, like a gen pop kind of training session.
Exactly.
And they go play their little pickleball. But I know when they play pickleball, a little competitive streak comes out, and I see it in here when we do stuff. So, like, I'm fortunate from a coaching standpoint to work with a wide variety of people, which was great, especially early on, because, I mean, I'm a baby in the fitness industry. I'm such a fresh coach. I've really been coaching formally for about a year and a half, and the clients that I took over from the previous owner and that I've kind of that vibe that I've maintained as I've added new clients is a mix of both, which really makes for it's a challenge as a coach, but in a good way, and it makes for a cool environment in here because during the group sessions, like in the summer, dude, the summer mornings they're so fun, but they're hectic because I've got like all these adults in here doing like they're just sort of like general fitness workout, and I try and keep it a little like athletic for them, you know, get some movement going. And then like by like 9:30, 10 a.m., like my whole crew of like all these college guys that I train come in.
Okay.
And sometimes those like the timing of all that can overlap. And it's just a really funny environment to be in because I got these guys doing, I'm really big on like crazy stuff with the athletes when we're warming up and stuff. So they're like doing like grappling and they're jumping over shit and like all the adults are in here and they see all that. It's just, it's a cool environment.
No, I always like that. I love that about gyms. Or like when you see someone else who's not basically doing what you're doing, but they're grinding, working their ass off too. It's cool to see because it's like, oh, you know, maybe they're not doing what I'm doing or something, but they're working. So why aren't I?
Dude, absolutely. And that's what's cool is that both sides, like in the adults and the athletes, they say the same, they echo the same thoughts and they have that same respect. And really, it means a credit a lot to the previous owner and a credit to like a couple of the guys that first came here that have grown that college group. They keep bringing in good kids because I would not let just any fucking college football player around some of these adults, you know? But
yeah, exactly.
It's a credit to some of the guys that first started in this gym back when I was a member too. And we've kind of grown that college circle.
And that's a credit to you too, like keeping the mentality and the vibe the right way.
We have a really good group of kids, which can be hard to find sometimes in a group, like handpicking a group of college football guys. There might be a few dickheads, but really by and large here, like they have a really good relationship with the adults. The adults love seeing like the crazy stuff that they're doing, dude. But then I'll put the adults through like a 30-second on, 30-second off, like hit style kind of workout, like a boot camp type of workout some days. And, like, I'll make some of the athletes, like, hop in for their warm-up or something just to kind of fuck with them. And, like, the 30-on, 30-off will smoke the athletes.
Oh, for sure.
So that builds that respect. Like, they have respect for the adults now. And it's this nice, really, like, reciprocal thing. And, again, so it kind of broadens, like, it kind of deepens my bag as a coach, too. Like, I'm not just athletes. I'm not just football players. I can kind of work with the Gen Pop. I have adults from, like, their 20s up into their 60s.
No, that's awesome.
Like, my ideal client right now is hard to pin down. I think if I stay in coaching a little bit longer,
you just want to have someone basically that's like motivated to improve.
Dude, that's the thing, yeah. Because even so, I'm not a super rah-rah guy. So I guess they maybe kind of narrow it down. Like I'm not a super rah-rah guy. So, but I program well. I can kind of like I'm good at like poking buttons and kind of poking the bear. But I'm not like an in-your-face motivator.
Gotcha.
So I do well when that person, like you're saying, like they kind of come in a little bit motivated. And then I'm really good at like those off days, like when they maybe like text me like, oh, I can't make it in today. And I'll be like, why? You know, I'm good at kind of like working the personalities like that. But again, I do well when that person kind of comes in a little bit hungry already. I do well with people that are kind of like a little bit insecure because I'm someone I know, like, it's funny, I got my mom in the gym right now and she was very nervous to come in the gym, but I try and do well. And I think this is my background. So when I lifeguarded, I used to coach the little kids. I used to have a little junior lifeguard program.
Okay.
I think some of the skills that I learned there transfers over well with this, like working with like people that are a little shy, a little insecure, like telling them like, dude, like you can do this. Like you're allowed to drop the weight if it doesn't go well. Like if you mess up, like nothing really happened. Like it was probably my fault. I probably maybe overshot what weight you should be doing. Like my biggest message probably even as a coach is I have so much fun training, competing, playing sports, getting a pump, like just a whole different slew of fitness stuff. and I want to try and share that with other people because I think there's a lot of like a stigma and an insecurity around the gym.
For sure.
And especially, dude, even walking into a place like this, people might be intimidated. They might just see athletes flying around and jumping over shit and deadlifting 600 pounds. But then if you keep walking in the gym, you'll see adults just kind of just getting it in, you know, like doing whatever. So I love kind of breaking down when I can see that barrier being broken down for someone. It's super rewarding as a coach.
Oh, no, trust me. I mean, I understand, like, the insecurity part because when I first went to fitness shop, I was just some skinny, like, 18, 19-year-old kid.
Oh, we're starting out
there's,
there.
like, dude, there's, like, huge dudes walking around, like, jacked out of their mind, throwing weight around like I've never seen before. You know, I think I saw, like, one of the first times I went, I saw some dude, like, throwing up to 180-pound dumbbells. I'm
even though they existed, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, God, I'm not even 180 pounds.
That's more than I weigh, yeah.
But, like, I had someone walk up to me there. His name was Mike, and he just, you know, saw me, like, I had my little logbook writing down my workouts, and he's like, hey, dude, I see you in here working hard every day. Like, let's work out for a couple weeks.
Oh,
and that was, and he just kind of helped me get started and, like, made me feel like I was welcome there and I fit in, just, like, working out.
Dude, I got a funny story, too. I was telling someone this the other day. Like, I started there, I think when I was, like, 16. So I lifeguarded with Jake and Julia. I probably started lifeguard maybe when I was, like, 15 or 16. And they were like, dude, like, they knew I worked out. I started working out a little bit like at home, like doing push-ups. I had like a Smith machine in my garage.
Yeah.
They were like, dude, our dad's on this gym. Like, you got to come to this gym. So I start, and like I played basketball in high school, so I wasn't my workouts were like very pedestrian. You know?
How old are you?
I'm 25, turning.
So I probably remember when you started. I think.
Yeah, you were probably already in the mix. Then
I was
too.
in there. I was definitely in there for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember you probably more than you remember me because you fucking were tall as hell.
Yeah.
I remember, like. And then once I started working there, we got to know each other, like working at the front desk, coming in. But, dude, I remember, like, it was always, like, in good fun, and it kind of broke down that barrier for me. But, dude, I used to get – because I wore, like, the cut-off lifting gloves. My dad told me those were cool.
Yeah.
And then I had, my notebook that I was writing shit down in. And then for me, like, I would be supersetting everything. And, like, some of the old heads in the gym – dude, they used to rip me for the gloves. They'd be like, oh, you're writing in your little diary. And like, and then I'd be supersetting shit. So I'd be trying to superset, and they'd be like, they would start, like, once they got to know me, they'd kind of fuck with me, like, take my attachment off or something. Like, because I was just like a 16-year-old kid, like, scrawny as hell, like, doing these baby-ass workouts for basketball just to put a little size on. But, again, that just set the tone. Like, it was – because, again, they were breaking my balls, but it was in good fun,
but they were there for you. Like, they loved seeing you probably.
Yeah, dude. And then once I started working there, it was like, oh, yeah, now you're working here. That place is special, man. Yeah,
so, like, what started that journey was just, like, the lifeguarding in the summer and getting to know Jake and Julia?
So, starting there, that was what started me at the fitness shop for sure. I mean, I had started kind of working out a little bit before that. Like, my earliest signs of anything was just, like, 4th or 5th grade. I just started hammering out push-ups in my bedroom. Okay. I think I heard, like, I started getting into football, and somehow I came across, like the Herschel Walker workouts, like, where he'd be, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but back in, like...
It's like, it wasn't just, like, a bunch of, like, push-ups and sit-ups? Like,
yeah, but, like, in the thousands of reps. And I was not even coming close to that, but, like, I would see, like, the old NFL clips of what he was, and he'd be like, yeah, I just ran hills and, like, did, like, 1,000 push-ups a day, and I was like, oh, maybe I could be that, and, like, obviously that didn't work out, but... It started me on a little bit of like a fitness training tilt, and then really got into it. My dad he's always like garbage picking and picking up shit at like yard sales and stuff. So we had like some dumbbells and a barbell with some old like Olympic plates in my garage, which definitely set a nice tone. And then whatever I was, like maybe 16 or 17, like whatever the youngest you could kind of be at the time, is like it was a perfect timing of like I lifeguarded, got to know them, and they were like, yo, like. You're old enough to come join and work out on your own. Or maybe it was like that fall I was going to be old enough. And once I was like, it might have been 17. I think maybe once I was 16 or 17, I would like went and got signed up. And I live in Bradley, so I was just always riding my bike up. And it's
perfect.
Definitely just fell in love.
So, yeah, and you said you lifeguarded. How long did you lifeguard for, too?
I lifeguarded probably, I want to say like maybe 8 or 9 years. I lifeguarded like full-time for like 8 or 9, and then not this summer, but the summer before, I was doing just weekends. Because like last summer was my first full summer coaching here, so I was doing some weekends towards the end when they needed help. Okay. Yeah, dude, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I always knew the lifeguards, and I think all of them would come to like fitness shop pretty much.
Yeah, because they do. Like Jake and Julia and Greg and John, they were always good about like hooking us up and getting us in there and getting people signed up for the summer and stuff, and kind of getting like a little like lifeguard discount and whatnot.
Gotcha.
So it was sweet, man. It was just, and it was fun being in Bradley. And like, again, like you said, we'd work together all day. You'd pop in there after work for a workout or something, or pop in the morning. And honestly, I got to know other guards from other towns from going there. Because, like, again, Jersey Shore Fitness Shop is just the spot.
It is the spot.
Yeah, it's the hub. So, like, I would go in there. I ended up talking to, like, Belmar guards. Like, oh, yeah, like, I'm getting it in before work, too. And it was just, again, just kind of like the meeting grounds.
The community. And I think dude, from what I see and how you are, man, I really think you're going to pull that off here, too.
I appreciate that,
I like this area, too. Because, I mean, you have a couple gyms in the area, but as I said, like for the people, if they're not, they definitely should come check it out because this is different than anything I've really ever seen.
Dude, yeah, that's what we're kind of like trying to push and like market and like let people know, like, yeah, like listen, you're not gonna come here and just get on the leg press or get on the treadmill.
Exactly.
But like that's the point. Like you're gonna come here, do some different stuff. Yeah, like even like some of the members kind of bust my balls because there's like a Planet Fitness I think opening up in this Wegmans lot.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, like are you worried? And I'm like, dude, us and Planet Fitness
completely different.
It feels like a completely different industry almost. Like it's a completely different business model.
I think Frank said that to me too, and I look at it in a different way. I was like, I mean, if Planet Fitness thinks this is a good area to go with the gym, then there's probably a community. They probably have they're paying people a lot of money to pick spots.
That's a really good point too. So, yeah. All right, yeah, there you go.
They're probably paying people big money to pick spots to put a gym.
Yeah.
And if you're right across the street with a completely different kind of facility, the fitness community is probably here. They're not. Yeah. They're probably not going to be wrong.
Really good point. Like I said, the people they're gonna go check that out. And then I'll be like, well, hey, just cross the street. You're at the Outpost. If you didn't like what you saw at Planet Fitness.
Exactly. You know, if you want to get moving a little bit, push some sleds and really get after it in a different way.
Yeah, do something.
Come check it out here.
Yeah, just doing something just totally different. And again, kind of just.
And then the 24 hours key is like a huge thing too.
Yeah.
Not a lot of gyms are going to be 24 hours anymore. And I mean, to have a place that you can actually do some athletic training 24 hours. That's not.
You can come in here and do freaking box jumps at 2 a.m. if you want. You know, you can come really get active whenever. And again, so that's really what we're going for, especially like Frank and I always talk about it. We think of groups like first responders, like nurses, like those people that are working weird hours but like have a certain like physical demand to their job. Like we think this spot will be a great spot for them.
Oh, for sure.
Again, those people, and again, I think a lot of people are like looking for something like athletic and functional, but maybe are a little tired of CrossFit. You know, like CrossFit's still sweet, and I think it's done a lot of good for like community and getting people moving. But like people are like, all right, like I want that, like I want to be able to do some of the shit I did at my CrossFit gym, but like not also have to do a ton of burpees.
Exactly.
And so we're trying to kind of be like that middle ground. Yeah, dude, you can come, push the sled, hit the Olympic lifts. We've got the bumper plates here. But, like, listen, I'm not going to be yelling in your face, like, if you don't want me to. Listen, I got coaching if you need it, but otherwise, dude, swipe in whenever you want, and let's get it popping, you know? And, like, it's going to be fun, man. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, because, like, Frank and I were just talking about this before. Like, we had such a hectic summer kind of moving parts around in here and kind of getting the gym looking how we wanted and getting some of, like, the business and security measures in, like our swipe system and the lights and the cameras and everything. And now, like, that part is settled in. Like, the work is not done, but, like, the fun work begins. I mean, Frank's been on the podcast. I'm on now. Like, you can see we both can freaking talk our ass off. And, like, we like connecting with people. And we're proud of what we have here now, too. And I'm just super stoked to, like, share it. Because, honestly, when I first took over, I think just being young, not really having ever coached before and kind of being thrown into the fire a little bit, I definitely experienced a little bit of that, like, imposter syndrome.
For sure.
And I was like a little bit almost like insecure to like tell people I was coaching. Like people would ask me like, and I was not comfortable telling them I'm a coach, not comfortable telling them I have this gym. But now that we've kind of taken the steps to kind of build it how we both kind of see it and how we want it. Oh, you know what? I'm doing a huge disservice as well. We have a third partner in the mix. He doesn't really have a social media presence, but one of my best friends, Rob, is also in the mix. And that's shame on me for not giving him a shout yet either. So he's kind of like our guy behind the scenes. He's going to be learning how to do a lot of like the content and stuff, which would be fun to have a guy that's like solid at it in-house. And he's just a good dude, man. He's kind of in a similar spot to where I was. He's a little bit younger than me. And again, went through school, smart kid, but like didn't really know what he wanted to do. So even just him being one of my best friends is exciting now to kind of be only a couple of years removed from the position that he was in and be able to kind of bring him on along. Like, yo, dude, like, you don't got to just go get a job you don't really like. Like,
exactly.
Like, we're not going to make a lot of money early on, but come on board. You're one of my best friends. We got a good dude partner with us with Frank. Like, let's try and build something, which is super exciting.
No, that's awesome, man. And I mean, for the coaching thing, I look at it a little differently. Like, being someone that's so young, if I was a young athlete, I would want someone young, like, teaching me kind of, because then they can actually show you what, like, you could probably show them what to do and, like, how to do it. You're probably still athletic yourself. Whereas, like, a lot of coaches are older and they can't really move. They're just telling you what to do. You can give them the example.
Just using verbal cues. Dude, honestly, so that's a really good point because the college guys I train, like, dude, most of them, because I'm not that much older than them,
exactly.
A couple of those guys have really become my close friends. Like, I have a lot of love for those guys. And it's a fun environment because, yeah, dude, I'm hopping in the warm-up. I'm hopping in the demonstration. Every once in a while, I got to hop in a workout maybe I get to show off a little bit. Maybe that day I get a little humbled because they're more athletic than I am. But, dude, it keeps me motivated to train. And then even, like, what's dope is when I get feedback every once in a while from their parents. Because their parents are older. Like, all those kids come on their own. But, like, this past weekend, I went up to a couple of the guys play for Kane, and I went up to the game. And just to even hear, like, those guys show a lot of love, and I appreciate it. But it's dope to hear, like, their parents even say it, too. Like, oh, yeah, so-and-so loves training with the gym. Like, like they like it because you're young. Like, they go back to school during the school year, and they're stuck with the same old guy that's been coaching strength and conditioning at the school for 20 years or whatever, and, like, kind of has a stick up his ass. And he's like, dude, I come here, and, like, I let them play their music because it's probably the music I like, too. And, like, yeah, I'll hop in the workout. Dude, I'll bust their balls. Like, I let them play spike balls their warm-up. Like, we try and keep it, like, a good vibe.
Fun.
Dude, and even from a coaching standpoint, like, finding ways to implement competition and fun, even if it's not directly with athletes, even with the adults who don't necessarily think that they're interested in competing, just dosing in a little bit of, like, a challenge.
A little competition in there gets you going.
Dude, absolutely. Because we're all, I'm a firm believer, like, obviously people are more of a jock than other people. But we're all a little competitive. Even,
for sure.
Dude, my younger sister in school, she was, like, such a nerd, and I would tell her, I'm like, that's competitive, though. Like, you don't think about it.
No, it is. There's you can be competitive in all types of different ways. Like,
absolutely.
Business, sports, like, school. There's all different ways of, like, to have that outlet.
Absolutely. So that's why, again, implementing that in here. Again, I've got all this turf, so doing fun stuff like the spike ball. Like, dude, the last week or two, I've been on a kick with, like, I have, like, just balloons, like party balloons, like, making them, like,
I've seen that on Instagram.
2 or 3 balloons they keep up for as long as they can, or, like, today I made a kid try and, like, bear crawl down the gym while keeping the balloon up and stuff, just, like, little shit like that. And then
different.
Yeah, it's different. And what's dope is that it looks crazy at first, but there is, like, a method to the madness.
For sure.
Once those kids or even the adults kind of get clued in with, like, something fun at the start of their session, they're not really checking their phones. Like, they're kind of pushing more numbers. Like, they're pushing the numbers up once we get to the lift. They're jumping higher. If I got the athletes doing, like, a vert test that day or something, like, it sets such a different tone than it would if I just told them, yo, jump rope and stretch, you know?
Exactly.
Like,
No,
doing
it's like
the same boring warm-up they've done.
You know, when they're on their drive here, they're probably like, oh, what's Shane going to have me do today?
Dude, exactly. Like, that anticipation just coming in is a lot of fun.
Something to look forward to.
Dude, I got a hoop over there. We were doing, like, low rim dunk contests and stuff this summer. Like, I try and keep the vibe fun because that also, too, for the athletes, like, that's the essence of sports. And then for the adults that aren't maybe familiar with that, I want to teach them that. I'm like, yo, like, train so that way you can have fun. You can go fuck around with your grandkids. You can go on a hike.
Yeah.
You can go get a little competitive playing pickleball now because we've been training you in here. Like, I want everyone to go out and compete, and, like, I have so much fun competing and training, and so I like to share that and, like, kind of influence other people with that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. And I guess we can wrap it up here. So October 25th.
October 25th.
6 p.m. till 8 p.m.
Absolutely.
Outpost, New Jersey. What's the address here again so everyone knows?
1701 Valley Road, Ocean Township, New Jersey. Hit us up, Outpost Jersey Shore on Instagram. I'm at Shane Nolan _ on Instagram as well. And, yeah, dude, I appreciate this opportunity to kind of share the gym and kind of share the story behind it. And
of course, man. I look forward to being here for the grand opening and then checking it out once it's open and getting a little workout in here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay. And that's Unorganized with Shane Shore. We'll see you next time.